So, is Microsoft going to buy Valve? That's the rumor that's running around today, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't think there's any likelihood that this is going to go through, but again, it's got some history behind it, and this rumor does kind of seem to make sense, even though it's completely unsubstantiated. So, let's just jump into it. This is all coming from this one main article or this one main post from Twitter from DR with approximately 80 billion CCE. Microsoft is preparing an offer for 16 billion for Valve, no stock, all cash. And if you look at the reporting for this, I've got two articles up here that both cite this tweet alone with nothing else to back it. And even you can see there's added context here. While last year there was no discussions about a buyout in 2020, nothing has come of it with no credible evidence. Publications have come out this year either about Microsoft wanting to or to attempt to buy Valve either. So there is more context around that. So again, huge grain of salt. Another article, this one only cites it as well. And every one that I've looked at, it seems to only cite this one tweet with nothing else to back it up. So again, more speculation than rumor, and even Dior kind of says that himself. However, if you do dig a little further back, you can see an article that I actually talked about previously from PC Gamer. Microsoft would buy Valve if opportunity arises, says Phil Spencer in leaked email. And this is talking about basically the whole discussion around various acquisitions. I think this was the Electronic Arts or Activision Blizzard acquisition, and the whole thing around that, where Microsoft was trying to acquire them, and in fact they did. However, a lot of stuff came out during that time about Xbox and PlayStation, and a lot of different things that came to light. And one of those things was a leaked email that said, "Yeah, we want to buy Valve." Because Steam is huge and we want to own it because we want to own everything. We want Xbox to be the end all be all. And if you remember, I talked about this with the whole future of Xbox, PlayStation consoles video that I just did about how Xbox wants to be everywhere. It doesn't want to be on just the console. It wants to, stream to streaming sticks. And this is probably a good indication of their intentions to go that wide, is to basically extend out to Steam and acquire Steam so that they can kind of corner the market on PC, but basically integrate that into their Xbox offering. So it's kind of a universal gaming platform. Now, I think if that happened, it would be terrible for the gaming industry. It would be terrible for the PC gaming industry specifically. I think Gabe Newell has been a great asset to PC gaming at large because Steam has been the great unifier. It's been the great equalizer. I mean, indie games and AAA games are just on there equally, and that's just the way it is. And that's something that Steam has that other platforms don't. I mean, the Epic Store is, it's catered, it's coordinated, it's invite only. Same thing with good old games. So those platforms don't have the same offering that Steam does. Now, the Xbox, the Microsoft Store, you can get on that no problem because that works just like, iOS and Android stores. So you can get on Xbox without an issue. You can get on PlayStation without an issue as well. But Steam was kind of the end-all, be-all for PC gaming and is the largest platform without a doubt. People are very, very loyal to Lord GabeN, and if he sold to Microsoft and it became part of Microsoft's whole ecosystem, I think that would be a terrible thing for them and for the PC gaming industry at large, because I think a lot of people would just stop using Steam. If it was integrated with Microsoft stuff, they're inevitably going to screw it up. They're inevitably going to turn it into a Microsoft product, and it's going to be Azurified, as it were. And people are just not going to take to that as well as they do with Steam, developers and gamers alike. And I can speak from both perspectives. As a developer, I think Steam is an excellent platform. It's very easy to use for the most part. There are some tweaks. I think they could modernize a lot of the back end to make it easier to use for developers. But by and large, you can manage through it. You can wade through the weirdness and get your game out there and get it in front of some eyeballs. And it is, like I said, the great unifier because everyone has a chance on the Steam store. Now, that means that everyone is trying, and so you get drowned out by the thousands and thousands of other games releasing at the same time yours does. But that's the same of AAA too. It's just that they have a bigger bullhorn because they're AAA, they're well known. So I think overall, this would be a bad move. And also just look at the picture of Gabe here. All right, he's got the Steam Deck. He's chilling out. He's enjoying his life here. And if he sold it to Microsoft, this Steam Deck would not exist. So I think that alone, and knowing him over the years, not personally obviously, but knowing how he has been over the years and the actions he's taken with Valve, I don't think he'd be willing to sell it to Microsoft. I think there'd have to be a very specific group of people that he would want to sell to see it flourish in the distant future. And I don't think he'd sell anyway. He's got 2 kids, and I would fathom a guess that it's probably going to be passed on to them. And I don't know what they're going to do with it, but the fact of the matter is he does have kids and he does have that inheritance. And I think that he would probably look to pass this company down to his kids if he can and if they're interested. So there are things that do lead me to believe that Gabe's not going to sell anytime soon. Maybe I'm just hopeful because he did enjoy his time in New Zealand there during COVID, I guess. So that might be a different thing as well, being able to step away from Valve altogether and just enjoy his retirement with his multi-billions of dollars. Probably not a bad idea, but I think deep down Gabe's a gamer, and I think he'd stick with it, regardless of all the rumors floating around and regardless of how much Microsoft would try and offer him. However, one weird thing that I did come across is this article here, which is again a recent article, and this might be all surrounding all this, because news kind of travels in waves, and I don't know, there's no coincidences in this world. But there was an article about Steam on Xbox consoles may finally be on the horizon, kind of talking about a potential partnership between Microsoft and Steam, and how Valve is not against that at all, about wanting to bring effectively Xbox Game Pass to Steam. That was the big discussion in that article about being able to effectively do a subscription service without having to do a subscription service on Steam and letting somebody else handle it, and effectively just having that accessible to Steam's gamers. I don't know how good that would be, and honestly, I think the Game Pass thing is losing steam quickly. not to make a pun there, but yeah, I think the subscription model is a limited lifetime thing. I think by and large you're going to see that diminish over time, because every time you see subscription services come around, it ends up being unsustainable, and this is no exception for sure. And I think that in the bigger picture, I think you're going to end up seeing people go back to games being purchased, but it's going to take a long time to get back there. And I think Steam is wanting to position themselves for that because they're good at it. They're the best at it. They're unquestionably the kings of PC gaming, of buying PC games on discount and Steam sales and the whole 9 yards. So I think overall Valve is in a good position, Steam's in a good position, and I don't think Lord GabeN's going to be taking any offers anytime soon. So again, take it with a huge grain of salt. It's all seemingly rumors and speculation at this point, so it's not really going anywhere. But there does seem to be something where Microsoft and Valve might be working together in the near future. And there's been a lot of talk about this over the years, but it really seems to be gaining steam in the near future. And we might actually see some kind of a partnership, maybe not an acquisition, but a partnership between Microsoft and Steam so that these things can happen. And there was also discussion about effectively bringing the Steam library to Xbox so you can play your Steam games on Xbox. And I don't know how that would work, but that would be an interesting thing as well. I mean, it would certainly bolster Xbox sales because all of a sudden they would have this massive library available to everybody that owns an Xbox and is a PC gamer. So they would automatically have this huge backlog of games that they could play on their Xbox. It would also solve Valve's problem of the struggles that they've had getting into the living room because, the Steam machines thing kind of fell flat. And granted, now that ended up giving us the Steam Deck, but the Steam machine itself kind of fell flat. So having the Xbox being a well-known piece of hardware in the living room of an awful lot of people probably makes sense for Valve to get into that and not have to worry about the hardware side of things because they seem to be hit and miss here and there on hardware. So going with a proven model, putting Steam libraries in living rooms everywhere, I think that was the ultimate goal anyway. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, and what comes of all this discussion of partnerships and acquisitions and whatnot. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hope you enjoy these kind of vids, and if you do, give it a like so I know. And I will talk to you later.